Ever dreamed of traveling to exotic destinations, making friends from all over the world, and earning money while you do it? Here's a step-by-step guide on how you can land your dream cruise ship job in 7 easy steps. I'm Natalie, and I've had the incredible privilege of working at sea for over 12 years. I began my journey with the Disney Cruise Line family, starting off as a youth activities counselor. Through hard work and dedication, I managed to work my way up to manager of youth activities, leading a team of 70 in Kids Club daily operations. Along the way, we had incredible guest satisfaction milestones, and I was also privileged to be a part of helping develop some of our crew into some of the bigger roles. After taking a break from ship life, I then joined the Norwegian Cruise Line family as part of their Cruise Next sales team. During my time with Norwegian, I was proud to be part of a team that hit many sales targets, helping to contribute to the success and growth of the company. In this training and the trainings to follow, I'm going to be sharing with you the skills, strategies, and lessons that helped me reach many of these milestones so that hopefully you can learn to do the same too. Whether you're looking to just start your cruise ship career or to focus and hone in on your customer service skills, sales skills, or even leadership, you're in good company. Now let's dive in. In today's video, I'll walk you through the step-by-step process on how you too can land your dream cruise ship job so that you can also experience the magic of working aboard a floating vessel. Now, before we get started on how to land your dream cruise ship job, let me be honest and say that life at sea isn't for everyone. Cruise ships are large vessels that require many different roles and departments, as well as people to help it operate successfully. As there are many different departments on board, ranging from health and beauty in the spa, food and beverage, customer service, there's no one particular role that will get you on board. For beginners, a cruise ship job can be an excellent way for you to earn money in a temporary role or for you to get started in a career. Now, before we get into the steps on how to apply for working for a cruise ship, let's actually go through the pros and cons of working on a cruise ship so that you can identify if this is something that's actually for you. Travel the world all while getting paid. One of the most obvious perks of working aboard a cruise ship is all the places you are going to get to see. Whether you're exploring the Mediterranean, the Caribbean, or the remote islands of the Pacific, working on a cruise ship will take you to places people only ever dream of, all while earning a salary. Diverse cultural exposure. On a cruise ship, you'll have the opportunity to work from crew from all corners of the globe. This international experience offers you the opportunity to work with people from different cultures, learn new languages, as well as gives you an idea of what global tourism looks like. No living expenses. Many of your living expenses are covered on board. Your food and accommodation are covered, and generally, depending on the cruise line that you're applying for, your flights will be covered as well. Then we have competitive salary. Salaries on board are generally higher than your typical entry-level salaries, as well as if you have the opportunity to work in positions where you have tips or commission, you may have the opportunity to earn a higher additional salary as well. Cruise ships are also continuously training and developing their crew. You will develop valuable skills in customer service, hospitality, teamwork, and leadership, which is highly transferable in other industries later. Health benefits. Cruise ships typically cover healthcare for their crew, providing access to onboard medical care, basic healthcare, as well as evacuation if necessary. However, you may want to check the specifics that is covered, especially if you have pre-existing conditions or you have specific needs. It's also good to know that some officer positions have expanded benefits. All of this additional information will be provided to you throughout your application process and when you receive your job offer. Structured work-life balance. Now, while the hours can be long, your schedule will generally allow for you to be able to spend time in the port, get off, relax. You also have facilities on board such as crew gyms and a particular role on board known generally as your crew activities manager that is in charge of creating all of the crew events and activities on board. All of these perks make working on a cruise ship extremely attractive, especially for those who are looking for adventure, travel, earning money while being able to see the world and not being stuck in an office. While cruise ships have several benefits, there are also some drawbacks to consider. Long hours. Generally, crew can work between 10 and 12 hours a day, 6 to 7 days a week. You work straight for your 4 to 8 month contract, which does lead to physical and mental exhaustion. And during busier seasons, you may find that there is limited time to be able to relax. So if putting in the work isn't for you, you may want to reconsider this type of lifestyle. Time away from home. Contract lengths are based on position and vary based on operational needs. It can be anywhere between 3 and 8 months long. Generally, your typical contract will be between 4 and 6 months. This means extended time away from family and friends. Now, if you do have a significant other that's back home or younger children, you may want to consider if this is something that is okay for you. Limited privacy. Crew accommodations are generally quite small and they are shared, so you don't really have a lot of limited space or privacy to yourself. Isolation. There is also limited communication with the outside world, and even though you'll be constantly surrounded by people on board the ship, you may still find yourself being homesick. Physical demands. Working on board a cruise ship can be physically taxing, especially if you're in a role where you'll be standing for extended periods of time, cleaning or doing a lot of heavy lifting. Also, the constant movement of the ship, especially during rougher weather, can cause you to be seasick. Strict rules and regulations. Cruise ships have stringent policies, especially when it comes to safety, socializing with guests, dress code, as well as your personal conduct. Now, while I think this is a pro, others sometimes may not. In short, if you value privacy, long-term home life, as well as stability, then perhaps consider weighing the pros and cons and decide if working at sea is for you. Now that we've covered the favorable and unfavorable parts of working on a cruise ship, let's dive into the steps that you can take to land your dream job. Number 1, you want to make sure that you meet the eligibility requirements. These are standard requirements that most cruise lines have across the board. First requirement is age. Most cruise lines will require you to be at least 21 years of age when applying for a job at sea. Now, there are some jobs or roles on board that do make certain exceptions and allow you to be at least 18, 19, or 20. But for specific departments such as food and beverage or casino, the age is definitely 21. And that is because it is required by law for you to be able to serve alcohol or be in the casino over the ages of 21. Next is your passport and visas. Cruise ships enter international ports, requiring everyone on board to have a valid passport. It is important that you obtain your valid passport early in the application process, and then once you get later throughout the application process and you have your job offer, they will tell you more about the visas that are required and if you also need a seaman's book. A seaman's book is basically an essential document for anyone who's pursuing a career at sea. It's basically your official passport to your maritime career. Next, we have your criminal background check. Because the safety of the guests and the crew are the number one concern of the cruise line, they will generally require that the employees have no record of criminal history. Once you have received your offer letter, you'll be guided on how you can apply for your police clearance check. Medical exam or records. The issue of safety also requires all crew members to be free of any contagious illnesses as well as medically fit for duty. Again, once you receive your offer letter, the cruise line will tell you what the steps are and which doctors you can see to have your full examination done. Once you have completed your examination and passed that off, that is when you will successfully have been hired. Tattoos and piercings. Most cruise lines frown upon having tattoos. However, some cruise lines have opened up their doors to people who do have tattoos as long as they are covered or not visible or do not show any offense to anyone else. Now, you will only obtain your visa, do your medical, get your police clearance once you have officially successfully passed your interview process. That's when they will communicate with you how to go about doing it and what you need to do. It's just good to know what the pre-employment prerequisites are before you continue down the process. Step 2. This is identifying and researching your options. Now, you may want to go directly through the cruise line or through a recruitment agent. It's also good to know that cruise lines can be broadly categorized into mainstream, premium, luxury, river, expedition, and family-orientated cruises. Mainstream cruise lines like Norwegian Cruise Line and Royal Caribbean cater to a large demographic of people with large ships, affordable prices, as well as fun, family-friendly experiences. Disney Cruise Line, while mainstream, focuses on family-friendly fun with a premium Disney experience. It combines entertainment, themed activities, and high-quality entertainment for both adults and children. Premium lines like Celebrity provide a more refined, upscale atmosphere. Luxury lines like Seabourn focus on all-inclusive, high-end, personalized quality service. Then you get adventure ships like Hootie Cruton, who focus more on the adventure seekers. They have smaller ships and take you to more remote destinations. Then you get river cruises like Viking that provide intimate cultural experiences along inland waterways. Now, it's important for you to choose if there are specific cruise lines that you are more attracted to, whether it's by their values or the benefits that they offer their crew. Once you've narrowed it down, you can start looking for open vacancies either on the cruise line's website or with a recruitment agent that is in your home country. Another important aspect is to know that not all jobs are hired directly through the cruise line. Some positions are filled by concessionaires, which are external companies which operate their services on board the ship itself. Some examples of these roles are art auctioneers, port shopping guide, as well as sales associates. And when looking for one of these roles, you would apply directly with the external concessionaire company. Now, step number 3 is choosing a role. Cruise ships comprise of multiple departments on board, from jobs in the hotel industry, entertainment, deck, engine. There's so many options to choose from. To determine which department is best for you, consider your skill set, education, as well as background. While most positions do require you to have previous experience, some jobs do offer on-the-job training. Next is preparing your CV or resume as well as your cover letter. Once you've decided what role you're going to apply for, you can start preparing your ATS-friendly resume or CV. ATS stands for Applicant Tracking System Resume. And an ATS resume is one that is easily read, passed, and understood by an ATS-friendly system. And the system will track certain keywords, experience, and make sure that it is actually meeting the criteria before it passes it over for you to be considered for the position. And if your resume isn't ATS-friendly, it may not even reach the hiring manager. Now, here's a quick checklist for an ATS-friendly resume. Use simple, clean formatting with standard fonts and headings. Focus on job-specific keywords and skills. List job titles, skills, and any other relevant information in easy-to-read formats. Save your resume as a PDF or docx, and then avoid complex layouts, images, graphics, anything that could make it a little difficult and confusing to read through. Include specific dates and include bullet points for clarity. Now, a great pro tip is to use ChatGPT to help you to create the content of your resume and Canva for a great layout. This ensures that it's both ATS friendly as well as visually appealing. I wish I had this back in my day when I applied for the jobs. Can you believe we're on to step number 5, and this is where you're going to submit your application. Now, we're just going to do one final spot check on our resume as well as our cover letter, and then we're going to go ahead and submit our application. You want to make sure that you read through all the instructions that the cruise line gives you. Sometimes they may say they want you to apply through your local recruitment agent. Sometimes you'll have to apply directly through the cruise line itself, or sometimes they'll have a tracking system where they want you to apply on their job portal system. Step number 6 is preparing for the interview. You made it this far. Congratulations. Many cruise lines will conduct interviews either over video, or they could ask you to come in for an assessment day. And preparing for your interview is a mixture of research, self-awareness, and practical preparation. Before your interview, you want to make sure that you reread through the job description to make sure that your skill sets align with what is written in there. Also, be ready to highlight any customer service skills, adaptability, or teamwork, as they are key to cruise ship industry. Expect questions like, tell me about a time you dealt with a difficult customer, or how do you think you'll handle working long hours or being far away from home? Again, AI is an excellent partner to help you prepare for your interview. And then remember to dress professionally and have lots of fun and show enthusiasm throughout your interview. We're on step number 7, which means you've passed your interview and you've made your way to the job offer. Let me be the first to say congratulations on acing your interview. Once you've passed, the next step is receiving your official job offer. It'll come with a contract which will outline the terms of your employment, including your salary, your benefits, as well as the contract length. Once you have accepted the offer, you will then go through your medical as well as your background checks, which we spoke about in earlier steps. Some cruise lines may even ask you to complete some safety training before you join the ship, but most of the time your safety training is actually done on board, and this is called your STCW certification. At this stage is when you'll also be applying for your visas, dependent on which ship you'll be deployed to or where you'll be in the world. Once everything is finalized, you'll then receive your embarkation details, travel information, and it's time to start packing for your new adventure. In some cases, you may have to arrange and pay for your own travel to the ship. but this will be communicated to you early in the process. I also wanted to just briefly speak about some upfront costs that you may incur throughout this process before you land yourself on the ship. We've already spoken about your passport. This is something that you will need to get before you apply for your job. Medical costs you will have for the most part to pay for upfront. However, most cruise lines do reimburse you once you join the ship on board and are medically fit for duty. Visa costs are generally also covered by the cruise line, and they will also reimburse you once you get on board. Criminal clearance you will also have to pay for before the time. Some cruise lines do reimburse you, some do not. So just good to know that too. Then we have your Seaman's Book, which is not reimbursable, as well as your STCW certification. If you're doing it back home, keep your receipts and the cruise line will reimburse you once you get on board, or when you get on board, they will then do your STCW training with you on the ship. And then last but not least, which is flights. And this is again dependent on the cruise line that you apply for and the role that you're applying for as well. So remember, research your cruise lines, create those cover letters and resumes, apply for the job, nail the interview, and get ready for an adventure out at sea. Actually, start applying today. You could be setting sail soon. And with that being said, good luck with your cruise journey. I'm excited for you to begin your adventure. Okay, babe. I don't have any social media or anything that I'm going to have them, and it's not going to necessarily be for YouTube, so I'm not going to put that part in, huh?
You done?
I think so, yeah.